DreamHack Astro Open is brought to you by Astro Gaming, Monster Energy, and Zowie.
Welcome back to DreamHack Open. It is the first event of 2017, the beautiful city of Leipzig, of course. It is snowing right now here as well. We are getting into Winter Wonderland territory, where Heroic are also in Wonderland. They have won their opening game of the day, 16-8 win for them. We're going to move on to our second game very shortly, but we thought we'd take a little bit of time while the players warm up for the next match to discuss 2017, the year ahead. DreamHack tournaments, of course, a record and historic year ahead for DreamHack as well. We've got Lurpis and Sponge back at the desk with us to do just that. Tommy, it's shaping up to be a very interesting year in Counter-Strike for a number of reasons, politically, tournament-wise, team-wise, major just around the corner. It's very exciting.
Before I delve into that, I must just point out that you British people have a very interesting view of the Winter Wonderland.
I'm over the novelty already.
You have snow all year round in Finland. We see it once a year.
But it's not snow, it's
I know,
slush.
but you've spent enough time in London now to know if we get like that much snow, everything shuts down. Everything closes, the airports close,
I know.
The buses stop.
But I thought you wouldn't appreciate the slush outside. And you're just a tad too excited.
You got to buy proper pants and shoes. You got to have. I'm wearing multiple jackets, gloves.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that stuff.
It snowed at least once in the last 30 years in Australia.
We got somewhere that gets snow.
Yeah.
The East Coast somewhere.
Right.
I don't know how much. Yeah, I don't know.
Not where he's from.
Onwards.
Or he goes.
But see, he's even less used to snow. So yeah, I don't know what he'll do if he sneezes.
He's like the non-American version of Sean Garris, because he's the one guy that I always see walking around in flip-flops.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't wear them today, but I'm going to wear them tomorrow.
Do you also not get on with Reggie, or too soon?
I'm just trying to think if I can make any spicy memes, but no, I don't have any. None there. I'm sure he's a great guy.
The year of non-spicy memes.
See,
we don't want to get too
if
political.
the show was scripted, he would have had a good line. Now you know.
Yeah,
now you know.
So it's not scripted, completely off the cuff.
So
2017, Tommy.
2017. Probably, again, going to be the best year of Counter-Strike so far, like the previous couple of years, trending upwards at a pretty nice slope, I would say. Starting off pretty fast, too. We got this and the Major fairly soon after. It's a good warm-up event, sort of. A couple of these teams are obviously going to Atlanta next, but for most of them, it's sort of a chance to start gradually moving up in the world.
Yeah. I mean, that's the cool thing about DreamHack Open, is the fact that it is open. They can come in and they can play. It's $100,000. It's not like it's a small tournament. It's still a premier tournament. So the fact that these guys can come in and start with a really good start to the year can set them up nicely towards the next major. They're not even thinking about this one.
Yeah, this is where you can kind of get noticed and kick off your whole year. And the good thing here is when more of these teams, the big dogs like VP and Navi and et cetera, are passing up on events, these guys are going to get more opportunities.
Yeah.
And it's going to make things more exciting because it's hard coming into an event as an analyst and looking at a bunch of teams. There's a few new rosters, there's players you haven't really heard of before. It makes it interesting for me because I'm not seeing the same thing, and you get to see lots of new cool ideas. And that's really interesting to see other people's approaches of Counter-Strike and the new in-game leaders and what they're bringing to the table, and it spices up the scene a little bit.
Yeah. And we have 14 winners of Premier Tournament in 2016. 14. That seems impossible to me.
It's a little inflated because of how busy the schedule was in like later parts of the year, though, with some teams sort of deciding to skip events last minute, sort of like Godsend very recently.
Did you want to bring that up now?
And just how, you know, some of the teams had more practice, they wouldn't go to tournaments. They'd have like their one Super Bowl type tournament that I always say that they were super prepared for. Everybody else is going to like fourth consecutive weekend of travel. So it's a little more random that way. But I mean,
but it's great for the scene, though, to see such a wide range of teams.
People like that. People like seeing different teams rather win. And then when you get the big tournament, which we got coming up pretty soon, that makes it more interesting because you've had the sort of build-up.
Yeah, for sure.
And a big chance for teams like Heroic here, the flip side. I mean, we didn't get a chance to talk to you earlier on, but presumably you'd agree those two are the standout teams here that would be the favorites?
No, they must be the two favorites to reach the grand final. But I mean, there's a couple teams who are good enough to upset them, which is what makes it interesting. And then you have teams like Vega, who obviously showed that they can do anything in a best of one.
See,
Exactly.
Tommy said.
The best of ones.
See, Tommy said it now, so everyone will believe it. I said it earlier, and they both went.
No, it's more
Vegas
like
got through. Red Eyes talking about Vegas. I'm like, come on, they beat the NIP.
I'm on board with Vega because I've been told a long time ago that they're really good in practice. So they're one of those teams that always have been at least good online. I mean, that's the first stage. Like some teams, they're never even good online. Like if you're good online and you continue playing, at some point you're going to be good on LAN too. There's just the way it works. A lot of the top players today were onliners at some point. It's just a fact.
That's true. I don't want to criticize NIP in that loss a little bit, but CIS teams, when I've practiced them in the past, historically they're always good on Mirage, or they always have they're always good at the A retake, or they're always pretty, and it shakes you a little bit, right? And for NIP to let that through as a map, I know their map pool isn't huge, but Mirage is one that I definitely would have been getting rid of against the CIS team. I guess hindsight, it's 2020, but Vega, I can't see them doing a huge amount of damage outside of the best of ones, because their group, they're going to potentially be going up against Rogue or Flipside, who have deeper map pools than them. And you've seen it in recent events from these teams. They like to play their overpasses, their train, and unless Vega are doing a lot of practice on those maps, they're going to have a lot of trouble.
What do you make of Rogue?
They had the good result recently, right, at the ESEA land, and that was versus LDLC, who are here as well. So these teams have been playing a lot recently in 2017, and we're only a couple of weeks in. So it's the mix. What are you calling the mix? The Danish?
The Dengarians.
The Dengarians.
Yeah.
Dengarians.
It's because the Bulgarians have finally left that cheater in the dust. And
Tommy's not having any of that. He's like,
I'm not buying this. I'm not buying
I'm
whatever
surprised you
you're
didn't
selling.
just take that off and walk away.
Whatever
and be
you're
like,
selling, I'm not buying.
But that's a good.
Dengarians.
But if you buy that easily,
Okay.
there's a nice bridge that I saw walking in here. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We can talk about that.
It wasn't very
We
high
definitely
though.
talk
Is it the same one?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's all good. Let's take a look at the groups for you. If you are at home and you've only just joined us, we'll refresh your memory as to how things look right now in Group A. We've had one game already. You've missed that one. Should be up on the VODs at the end of the day. Heroic winning 16-8 over QWERTY from Scandinavia. LDLC will be going in action in Group A a little bit later on against Fnatic Academy. It'll be very interesting, actually, to see how LDLC get on. Of course, with a legendary team leader in there as well. Flipside versus Big is your next game here on the main stage, and then we'll move on a little bit later on. Again, our last game of the best of one round of the first parts of each of the group stages will be Vega versus Rogue. So let's talk about LDLC. What is it about existence? I mean, legendary in Counter-Strike Source as one of the in-game leaders of all time. Came into CSGO at the very beginning. I remember the first 12, 18 months, always finishing second to NIP, but always considered to be one of the very best minds in Counter-Strike. What's happened to him?
Well, I think he's still considered one of the best minds in Counter-Strike. The problem is that the best players from his country, or rather his scene, which would be combining France, because he's not French,
Yep.
but because he plays with the French teams, and the French best French players happen to be very skilled. They like to play free playing style. They like to play the Fnatic style where they kind of roam around. They go for picks. They don't like to play set tactics and having everything known from the beginning of the round. And that's what Existence specializes in. And that's sort of why he got pushed out of that group of the core team where, and I think in Scream's HLTV top 20 player article, he basically said that he knew that the team was going to be better after they got in body because they were going to get to do whatever they want to do. Mm-hmm. And that's just sort of inconvenient for Existence because in a lot of other countries he could do great things, but it's just he doesn't have the player pool for his purposes.
I want to talk about Britain for a little bit. You and I share a passport.
Yeah.
So
Burgundy?
we can sort of relate to this. I don't want to say this too loud, but there's a British player in one of these.
But he speaks French.
It doesn't matter.
Is
Don't
he
bring
really
that
British
up.
if he
Don't bring
speaks
that up,
French?
Sponge. Don't bring it up. We'll just ignore that.
All right.
I mean, the fact is, we don't get many big British players anymore. We've got a couple playing in North America.
Yeah, the US.
Yeah, and the home scene is. I don't want to say this too loudly, UK players, but it's a mess right now. And it has been for a while in the UK. We're just not getting our stuff together. So it's nice to see a guy going to play for a team like LDLC.
It's good for him. The thing I don't understand about the UK is you guys are in the best part of the world to practice Counter-Strike. You've got good internet, I guess. Maybe not you, but other people in the UK.
Tommy hasn't got good internet. Don't start him off, please.
And they just can't keep a team together to practice.
Yeah,
you get the best practice in the world here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you guys came over, didn't you, for a few months? We put you up and...
Yeah.
When was it 2014, 2015, I think? I can't remember. But you came over for a few months and you did boot camp, played everyone in Europe. It improved Renegades, didn't it?
Yeah, it's always good, to come into this. It's like a hyperbolic time chamber kind of thing, You go in, you cram, you learn a lot, and then you go back and you teach the rest of your country the things you've learned. It's always good fun. It's like a learning exercise for everybody. There's a point I want to make, like with the existence thing that you were just saying, right? So we've got God, B, Blade, and Existence, who would all make absolutely fantastic coaches to the top teams in their region, right? They're all great minds. When we were in Renegades, we tried to get Gob as a coach when he got dropped from Mouse. Wasn't having any of it. These guys all still want to play. Unlike me, I'm like, nah, I'm done. You know, don't worry about
Doesn't
it.
want to coach anymore. He's like, whatever.
Nah. So I'm really interested that these guys still have the drive to, you know, play and win, and that's good to see. And they play very structured styles of Counter-Strike, all three of them. So with Existence, I remember watching him in Source days. He made it look like, he made Counter-Strike Source look good. Okay, so you saw other teams playing it was messy. You know, people were running like all these random strats. He made the game look so structured and good that it reminded me of good strategies being played in 1.6, which obviously was the better game. And to see him, you know, not struggling here, he's obviously enjoying himself where he is in the team and stuff, but he's building up a new bunch of players under his style, and hopefully, you know, he can get some good results out of that.
Is he too regimented? Is he too outdated, Tommy? Is that part of the problem now? Is Counter-Strike moved on from where it was a few years ago?
No, I don't think the game as a whole moves on. But if you're, like I said, if your player base doesn't want to play that way, then you can't play that way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got players who will play his style now in LDLC, but the problem is he doesn't really have enough skill to compete with the big dogs. I mean, he's had some good results online, a couple good upset wins, but you know, it's just not consistent enough as of yet. But obviously, tournaments like this, the ESCA LAN a week or two ago in LA, that's how you slowly start building your team up. You get experience, you play against better teams, and then that's how you eventually, hopefully, improve.
What do you rate their chances here?
Oh, they look like they were pretty good on Overpass right at that ESCA lane, and that'd be good for this group they're in. I think Rogue and Flipside both like Overpass as well, so that's going to be like a strong thing in their bow. Quill? No, Quill's with pens. Anyway, wrong analogy. But I think they're potentially second spot in the group with Rogue. We saw them lose to Rogue, obviously, but they have a chance to go to the group in second. I wouldn't say first. I think Flipside are the number one.
Do you think they can make top 4?
I think so, yeah.
I also don't think Rogue is the lock to make the playoffs by any means. They're good enough when they're playing well. I think they hit a hot streak in LA, but I'm not sure that their consistent level, that we've seen enough of their consistent level yet, that they're for sure going to be at there the whole time. Because when they first put this team together last year, they didn't have very good results early on. It took them a while to get there, and now it's sort of, in my eyes, it's still pending how good they actually are and what's the actual level they're going to stabilize on.
Okay, let's move into our first game of the day, second game of the day, with our first team in this second game, which is big. It's a brand new team.
They're big.
And they're big, not like Carmack tomorrow big, but they're big. In terms of names, Tommy, this is a set, at least 3 of these have been legends throughout 1.6 all the way through to now. Can they roll back the years and bring back this, you know, this brilliance they had in the past and bring it into modern day Counter-Strike?
I don't think Gobby's trying to roll back the years. I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to get Nix back to how he was playing prior to Nico joining Mousesports, because I think that's the key to that team performing. He needs to unlock Nix back to the level that he was peaking at in the summer of 2015. I'm
going to derail you and go to Flipside and talk about Electronic and relate him to Nex, and that's my segue. Nice. Flipside's on the screen, so we'll roll with them. But Electronic is the newest addition to this team, and basically the Waylander, Markloff, Blade, and World Editor are solid. You know, they're good at their positions and stuff. World Editor is a good AWPer, he's a bit flashy, but what they've lacked is a playmaker in forms of a rifler, and I think Electronic brings that. He's a bit more random. I think he's let off the leash by Blade a little bit. And Markloff, he's happy being his lurker role player doing his job. Waylander was always solid, so him coming into the team was never like a fit replacement for Bondic, in my opinion. And now with Electronic, he looks like he's bringing a spark, and if he can hit that level, and then World Edit can hit some flashy AWP shots, Flipside are looking more dangerous than they've probably ever been. They've gone through so many roster changes. You know, they had Simple, they had Shara, but they've never been able to find, they've never had like a superstar, other than Simple, obviously, who's been able to carry the team. And if Electronic can be that player with a solid unit and a solid foundation, they can be a pretty strong team.
No, I agree. I think Flipside's problem has always been that they don't have playmakers. Yeah. And if you don't have anybody who will win you rounds every now and then, make a couple of plays when things get rough, then you're solely reliant on your tactics and team play. And yeah, that gets you past weaker teams a lot of the time. That's how you win consistently. But if you're going to upset better teams, you're going to have something up your sleeve, and that's not the same tactics that they know you've been running for the past 6 months.
All right, let's move across to the other side of the stage, where BIG, Big, are in their booths right now. Next, Keith, Gob, B, Tamsin, and Lagisha. 3 of those names will stand out to you if you're a long-time Counter-Strike fan. The last 3 on the screen, of course. And I guess if you roll back the years, like 8, 9 years ago, this is actually Mousesports versus Na'Vi, Tommy.
I think it's more so the early CS:GO days of
You'd have to squint
mouse
a little
ports,
bit.
I would say.
You have to squint a little bit to get Ball's analogy and maybe be slightly drunk. But yeah, as you were saying about Next, he should be the star of this team. But you look at this and you look at, they've played one game versus Mouse Sports, this roster, and Tabson
But that
was
went
the
better
star.
than expected. That was
Yeah, what was it? Cobble, Keish, and Mirage, and all
Yeah.
three maps were super close.
yeah, no, that was a very good debut for that team. Much better than anybody thought, I'm sure.
How much are they going to rely on Godby in terms of like strategical mind?
Versus Blade, I think,
Yeah.
you know, you're going to see a lot of Gambit plays like Gambles here, there, and everywhere. And I think that's important, especially like if we're going to see a map like Overpass, Cobble, or Train, which are, you know, you need to do random stacks of C2 or random aggression. So I think Godby making the right plays there is going to be instrumental. But Tabson, for me, I'm not going to call him an onliner, but he has performed better online consistently. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can bring that to LAN, and he's going to be able to do what he just did online recently.
So what you're basically saying is he's an onliner.
No. What I'm
Exactly,
saying
that's
is,
exactly what he's saying.
That's what I heard, Tommy. Did you hear that?
That's what the Australian from all the way on the other side of the earth where no one knows what he does online is saying.
Probably a lot of people don't even call them onliners anymore, right?
Do they not?
I think that's an old
the thing
thing.
is, Tabson has had good games on LAN. He's had actually memorable games, like that
Very.
game at what's that split LAN, even in Croatia in like late February last year, where they took a map or did they actually beat Envy with NRG? That was the one good showing that they had, where he was just standing for Peter, who got injured on the flight over.
That's right. Yes. And
So
he
he's
broke his
had a
ankle.
couple memorable performances.
Yeah, so
here
shut
and
up,
there.
Sponge.
What? Because he broke his ankle, or he's not an onliner? Which one are we talking about?
I'm going to bail you out, my friend. The map vetoes are underway right now. They're going to get rid of Dust 2 on the flip side, and they're also going to get rid of Cash, and Train is going to be removed.
Yeah, if I was Flipside, I'd get rid of, you know, the same situation as the last game.
Yeah.
Get rid of the more not puggy but potentially random
More open
maps.
maps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where they can just fall back on years of playing. So they did get rid of the Dust 2, they get rid of the Cage. The Nuke
And
gone, Train gone.
Unsurprisingly, Big on the other hand, removing all the tactical maps. So
Yeah,
they're getting rid of Train and Nuke.
So we're narrowing down to Mirage.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's the
I'd ban Mirage next if I was Flipside, because that is
I
a
would
strong
too.
map for, like we've seen for Big. And Godby, historically, he did that with Energy. Oh, he's left it open.
Okay,
it's
so
going to be
Cobble's
Mirage because they're going to remove Overpass for sure.
Yeah.
Unless they didn't expect them to ban Cobble and they prepped for Overpass and they think they have, you know, some amazing strategies up their sleeve and they want to make a statement. Oh, it is Overpass.
What do you know?
Surprised.
Okay.
I thought that they wouldn't be ready on Overpass.
I would
Because
definitely.
as far as I'm concerned, Overpass is the most tactical map. Is
I agree.
by far the deepest map in the pool. So you would think that you need the most practice on that to actually feel comfortable on it.
Yeah, and the CT side is very strategical as well, because you can base decisions like being very aggressive or very passive at the start, and you can force the T side to waste a lot of utility. There's a lot of thought goes into it. It's not just go to your spot and hope for the
No,
best.
no, exactly. It's twice the work.
Yeah.
It's sort of like how Tuscan used to be in 1.6, for example. It's not like you plug everybody in their spots. It's like, oh, I play B, I play mid, and then that's it. No, you have to have something going on every single round. You have to have a couple people on both sides, really. You have to have someone who's going to say, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to push water this round, we're going to play aggressive by bathrooms, going to go to the balloons. Like, you have to have someone who's going to be calling the shots, and you need two people because there's two bomb sites, and both require aggression and sort of customized play.
For me, this is the map which probably requires the most theoretical Counter-Strike, you know, talking about how you're going to react. So we've got the initial moves like you were just outlining, but if you do take water and nobody's there and they decide to take party control while you have your numbers here, how are you going to rotate? How are you going to move around the map? And those aren't decisions you want to be making as an in-game leader right there on the fly, because anything can go wrong. You need to have talked about this. And there is that base of Big from NRG, so they're going to have the understanding with the three of them, but it's not going to be as deep as Flipside, who have had this unit behind Blade for such a long time. They should all know exactly how he wants them to react, and I think Flipside are probably going to edge this one. Maybe I beat the predictions here. You know, you didn't say predictions yet. I'm sorry.
We can do predictions if you want.
Another,
That's okay. I don't
not just to add on what you said also, is not only do you not want to be the one making the calls while you're playing for the first time, but the calls usually need to happen faster. It's that 1 second delay that is the difference between you making the rotation and getting to that spot you want to get, and not doing that. And Flipside, on the other hand, actually have some good wins on Overpass over the years. That's usually been a good map for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, strategically pretty strong. Let's do predictions now. I also want to pick up something Tommy said. When are we going to get Tuscan?
Well,
Have you played the version that's up right now?
Well, I read
in
that
beta?
I read that Brute told us that we were going to have it for ESWC 2012, and Hold on, let me just. No, it says 2017, Paul.
Yeah,
it says 2017.
It may be a bit late.
I berated him very hard on the forums and Twitter and stuff because Tuscan was a great map. I loved it.
Tuscan was an amazing map.
Yeah, he was holding
before that as well.
The rights to the map over everyone's head. People were trying to make it, and I think he wanted that money, and he's just too lazy.
Wow.
So, Brood, get your stuff together.
Sat down live on TV. Brilliant.
The only problem with that is pretty soon Valve's gonna see, oh guys, now we don't know which map we need to remove, but we can add a 9th map.
Nice.
And just ruin everything. So maybe it's better that Brood just stays on some island somewhere waiting for that big bag of money to be dropped from a chopper.
Delivered by a chopper. Let's move into predictions then, Tommy. Is this straightforward?
I think it's straightforward. I mean, it might not be, but you have to go for something.
Yeah.
I think Flipside wins fairly easily, say 69-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, same as the last matchup. I think Flipside have a lot of depth. I think Big, they're gonna give it a good shot. I think I'm expecting a lot of flashy plays. Kiev to surprise with the AWP, but Flipside in the end.
Yeah. You don't. Is there anything that you can give Big if they do this well, or if Flipside do this badly? Is it a big win?
Keeping Flipside's money in the bin would be the best approach, not letting World Edit get that AWP. This is a map where you can really punish the economy. So if Godby can manage the money well enough, make sure his players aren't hunting when they don't need to be, not giving away AKs or weapons for them to save, I think that could be their best chance into the game. Because Flipside are heavily dependent on a lot of utility because they don't have those flashy players who can just grab a CZ and get a 3K. They need their utility to delay. They need their Molotovs to push people out of position. So stay on top of their money and Big could take it.
Okay. Tommy, we've seen Flipside play very lethargically in the past where they just seemingly want to use the entire round limit right up to the end. Is that going to play a part here? Is Godby going to realise that and try and slow them down as much as he can?
I don't know if it makes a difference because they play so methodically that even though they take super long, they usually leave themselves with enough time to still get to where they want to go. I mean, I would say they're a tad faster than the Zeus Navi. I mean, that team really had issues sometimes. But I don't recall Flipside. I mean, they play super slow.
I don't know
the same way, but they don't have the same issues with round time.
I don't know if you spend enough time in England to know what Robin Reliant is yet.
No.
Only watch Only Fools and Horses. There's a Robin Reliant and it happens to be yellow. That's the Zeus Navi that we used to see. Very slow car. Right, let's bring in your commentators because they're eagerly awaiting our second game right now. Gents, how the devil are you over there?
I'm doing pretty good. I didn't know what the Robin Reliant is, actually.
You do?
Yeah.
Awesome. So you know about the Zeus Navi Robin Reliant?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's say no more about that, Blue, because we might get in trouble. I'm already feeling Alex's wrath over the top of me right now as he says, shut up, we've never played that slow. What are you predicting then for this one? Do you agree with the boys on the panel? Do you think this is a Flipside map to lose?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Big's still coming into this one as a preforming team, as we mentioned before. They don't all the basics done yet. Flipside has a whole lot of history to work off of. Everything just works out in their favor in that respect, like you guys have been mentioning.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really surprised about the Overpass pick, to be honest, because if I'm looking through the statistics, I'm pretty sure that Heroic twice has beaten Flipside on this map. So this is not a map that is like one of their best ones, despite it really suits the way that they play. But still, I'm going to go with the desk and say it's going to be a Flipside victory. But
you know what?
I can say pretty close.
All four of you are so boring.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're really boring.
So boring. Can someone not just give us one?
Can I change my prediction?
Yes.
I went against common sense so many times in LA just to have something going on. I went for the worst picks and then got slaughtered for it. He was the man that fell on his sword.
Like, bear in mind, Tommy was the man that fell on his sword. Are you going to fall on your sword?
Yeah, I'll just change it because everybody knows that predictions is how you know someone's a good analyst. So predictions are clearly the most important part of being an analyst and predicting games.
Obviously.
So I'll change to Big.
All right, okay. That's enough nonsense from the desk. Gents, it's all yours.
All right, well, thank you very much. We are getting prepped to jump into this match now. Once again, Flipside versus Big. For those of you just joining us once again here at DreamHack Leipzig 2017, your opening thoughts on this match now as you prepare to jump into it in just a second.
I'm really looking forward to this one because, as they talked about on the desk, Mirage is usually a very good map for Flipside as well, but also a map that Big could play well on. So I'm curious what went through that veto process because, as we know from the stats, that this Overpass map, as they say, is very strategical, but it's also a map where Flipside, historically, at least in the last couple of months, haven't been perfect. And they have been really good on Mirage, so I can actually kind of understand that. They have like an 80% win rate win rate on Mirage, Flipside, so I can understand why Big are batting that one out in the end. While they've also, as I said, they've seen the guys from Flipside lose to Heroic on Overpass, so I can kind of understand maybe some of the reasoning behind this, but then again, it is a very tactical map, so they're going to have their work cut out for them.
The big question mark when it comes to me, as we talk more about the individuals on the Big roster, has got to be Legia, now that we go to a more strat-heavy map. I've noticed that he's really good and really confident on those more puggy-style maps, which so far we've seen banned out immediately, like Dust 2 and Cash specifically, which have been the first ones gone. He's great on those maps, but it's always in the other maps where it's very hit or miss. One game he'll show up and absolutely destroy the playing field, and he's sort of feeling it going into the match, and other times we don't really see anything of him, and he gets absolutely destroyed, and he's kind of like a non-factor for a lot of the match. So that's one of the things that I'm sure Big are going to have to worry about now going on to a map. I like Overpass here.
Yeah, definitely. And also on the other side of things, as Bunch mentioned, the addition of Electronic, really a player that when he's on his A game, he can just pull out crazy stuff round and round again. But the question is, how is he going to perform here? This is a new season. He's actually now in a team where he's not just stand-in anymore. He's playing on this team full time and he's practicing with these guys. How much will he improve over the next 3 months? Because he's one of these players that I could see coming into a very, very hot position in 2017 just due to his potential and his skill alone. And here we go. We are into the game on DE Overpass between Big and Flipside live at DreamHack Leipzig 2017.
Well, it is time to get into it, ladies and gentlemen. We have a German team and a German audience. Let's hear it for them. If you're cheering for them, it's Big. Now starting off on the CT side versus Flipside. As we take a look at the opening push now, they're going to send Electronic actually all the way through water towards the B site. However, he's on his lonesome pretty much the entire rest of Flipside. Have pushed themselves over there towards the playground area and wasted no time taking a long control either. They've already got a player pushed all the way up to the flower pot. And beyond this, basically being given free reign. Bigger just playing back to the sites. They're not moving out at all right now.
See here, bomb is still dropped in T-spawn, so the terrorist, once again, as they mentioned, they have this style where they wait out the entire round and then do the push in the last 10-20 seconds. So that's, well, now the bomb is being picked up, but that could be the thing that we're going to see right now. Blade is, of course, the in-game leader, the man to watch here. He has a flash, a smoke, and a decoy grenade. So very curious to see how that decoy grenade is going to be used, or if it's just for fun, basically just throwing in. But I'm sure with Blade's mind put it into it, it's going to be for something.
And again, just waiting for the inevitable here as they do flush in. Gabi has to fall back over here towards the pit, but has hit perfect timing on the flashbang that comes up for Flipside. It's actually missing both the big players back. However, they're able to hold it. All of a sudden, though, Markelov rolls up the sidewalk along with Electronic, and they're able to take them both out. Kiev goes hunting, but doesn't catch any fish, unfortunately. He's knocked back, and also in the battle here, we saw Legia, too, being dropped on a 1 HP somewhere along the line, so he's pretty much out of the round, unless he can find a couple lucky headshots from the back corner there, and we can see hunting for them. Unfortunately, next to get it down, there's Legia, and now it's all on Kiev, and he's out in the open in a 1v4, so it's a quick closeout there from the guys on Flipside to be able to take control of their first pistol.
And I think this round is a good example of how Flipside are going to play in this tournament and in 2017 and have played in 2016 as well. They have good executions, and now they have Electronic to get that opening kill. With the aim on this guy is absolutely insane. So if they time the flashes we saw correctly, he gets into the side first. He's going to get that 1-2 quick and get that side under control, and then they can hold in post plant, which they have practiced so much because they're such a well-drilled team. So that's a great example. And now we do, of course, see the pistol round coming in from Big. It's going to be very hard for them to get anything out of it, so a couple of kills here would be great, but yeah, if they could just hold the CTs off and get something done, that's good.
The usual aggressive player over here in the bathrooms now starts off in parties we've seen already. Big's Kiev has now fallen back outside, and he's gone hunting to see if he can grab 1 or 2 players with the deagle pickup now. Trying to see if he can take down anybody on Flipside, but it's not meant to be. And in the meantime, most of his teammates are also falling back, holding in these corners, and basically waiting for Flipside to make any slip-ups there, which they can capitalize on. So far, though, very clean, very slow from Flipside as Blade moves in there to take down Next, catches him in the lower connector stairs, and doesn't take a whole lot of damage from that either. Now, though, they'll start to group up a bit and start a clean sweep as they push towards the A-bomb site. Whether they fully commit, however, is yet to be seen, as they kept the options open in the last round and it worked out for them, and I'm sure they have no reason not to do the same here.
Bomb has just been picked up near T-spawn, and now it's moving towards this A-bomb site. Kiev actually gets one with the deagle, eventually refragged by Electronic as well, that pushes in towards the stand. Now it's all on to God B with a C-set 75 to hold this.
And he's going to be hiding behind a smoke, so he does have a little bit of an advantage if he times this properly here. It's essentially going to come down to luck in certain respects, though. It's like, yeah, he tries to go out over there by Monster and does not catch anything at all. Now, though, he's lurking around. He spots the plant, tries to stop it, but is distracted by that and does not catch the player who was looking for him around the corner. So it is a very clean round again from Flipside. I think both of these first 2 rounds, they only end up losing 1 there. So already getting a good amount of bank built up here within the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, definitely looking quite good, looking like we expect them to look in this tournament, because of course Flipside are the favorites here to win this. Let's be honest. They're the team that go into the major. They have this good lineup and a good history of getting into majors at all times, basically. And the mastermind of Blade, who with even 0 hours on his Steam account can frag people out and do crazy tactics. So this is a great team and definitely my favorite and many other of the analysts' favorite to get to the final here.
However, considers the fact that he just could be playing on another account.
Yeah, definitely. For sure.
The Steam paparazzi just checking in on everybody's accounts and whatnot. It's like, he's not playing. Something's going wrong there. No.
I saw...
Just be hanging out with friends on
Yeah, I saw a site that basically just compares how many hours the 2 teams has.
Right?
Yeah, someone built that. Of course, right now, it's just an eco round coming up from Big. They're saving up to buy in the next one, so... basically stacking on one side and hoping that Flipside will go that way. That did not happen. Now Flipside has the B bomb side and have the post plants down with the good positioning and the good weapons. So there's pretty much nothing that Big can do here. Either they'll go for a quick kill, 1 or 2 kills, or else they just say, okay, we don't want to give them $300 for each kill and then just stay back.
See Electronic moving in there. Tries to pre-fire the corner position, but yeah, everybody on Vegas hanging back, actually looking to punish this type of aggression specifically if it goes all the way up there. Spots 1. They don't have them both peeked out at the same time, though. The timing on these double peaks is just a little bit off there for them to actually capitalize on it, so Electronic is pretty much just going to clean up shop there. Gets all 4 kills. He's going to go for the quick ace. He's got him down low. Next is on the run. Will a teammate steal it is the question. He's got him cornered at all. Waylander will unfortunately take it away, but still another fairly clean one for the guys on Flipside.
Yeah, and they're playing it really well. They're sending like the one guy they can afford to lose, which is of course the Mac 10 player, out to hunt these frags because they know the CTs are not going to commit to that. They're not going to go in. They're just going to hold angles because they don't want to give up the $300 easily per kill. And with the Mac 10 that being a little bit more. So well played by Flipside here. Now we're going to go into the first buy round of this game, and this is where things get exciting because Kiev has an orb, and he's one of my favorite players to watch with this orb in the European scene. So let's see here.
And the aggressive hold directly up on the steps, too. Not even going to try to hold over towards Party or anything else like that. Just goes right for it, but not going to be able to catch anything, unfortunately. He just falls right back over here now into the bathroom connector and holds and waits for the long angle. He's actually going to jump on top of Flower Pot, too, which is a bit risky considering they could have peeked at that point, but they decide not to do that as of yet, and it still works out for Kiev here. But a flashbang connects directly into his vision pane, and now, though, he catches them moving in, and there is no follow-up to try and smoke him back out. He's going to be able to take down World at it. They get a nice man advantage, and they capitalize on, or they're not really going to try to move in to capitalize any further upon that. They're just going to fall back to the site once again.
Yeah, good defensive play after getting that first peek. That's how you should play it. Now Flipside will take map control towards A, bomb side here. We'll take toilets control and then eventually move in towards the bomb side and do the execute, or they'll rotate all the way back. Right now it's 3 stacked on the A side, 2 stacked on the B bomb side from the CT, so it's obviously where the push should happen. But Waylander once again opens up onto Kiev. That was not very good, but Waylander coming in with the double though. What an entry from him.
Thompson going to be mauling this off too as Flipside inch closer and closer. They're committing themselves to this push now as they do get closer to the site and the time gets lower and lower here. 3 still up and running, and there's 2 on the site, still waiting for 1 to get full confirmation before he rotates in. But Tapson is a good position. We've seen him before. Him and Gabi rocket up 2, but Markelov gets those 2 kills, and that's from 2 separate positions. Tapson and Gabi both go down. All of a sudden, it's on to Leggy to swing back in here, but he's been smoked back off on the step position. It fades out just as he approaches it. However, he spotted Waylander, but it doesn't matter. He's going to shut things down, and there you have it. Flipside push through and take the first gun round as well.
I'm so surprised why Kiev died early on to Waylander there, because obviously he's with an AWP, he should be holding a very defensive angle and let his M4 players. If anyone should peek, it should not be him. But I guess with the personality that you have in a player like Kiev who's so good at what he does, he's sometimes maybe going to be a bit careless, and I think that was what happened in that situation. And when you get careless, the guys from Flipside will punish you every single time.
Again, you've got Kiev who's going to hold the aggressive position. This time at Party, looking for the headshots. This time with the Deagles. Big do have to downgrade, but it's very short-lived once again, as we've seen in pretty much every round so far. Fallback's a little bit slow that time, but still they are able to escape the damage as Blade does try to go for a quick pursuit onto these guys. It's not going to work out. And Nex looks like he's going to be holding just outside of this as, again, they're right back onto the sites. They're not playing aggressively out towards short A, like these little bathroom cupboard that you can hang out on the outside of there, over towards long wide flower pots. They're not doing any of that at all. They're not really pushing out towards water or anything like that. They're playing very reserved on the CT side.
And the terrorists are also very careful because they know that the CTs can get aggressive in these rounds here. So they're playing behind that imaginary line that you can draw basically from 30% of the map in the first 45 seconds of the round, 50 seconds of the round. And now they're moving up. After seeing, okay, the CT's not aggressive, not in these tricky positions, we can now move up. Nex is probably the only one who has a chance of getting anything done in this round, really, with his position right now. So that's pretty much it. Unless he can do something absolutely amazing, this round is over.
Nex sneaking around a little bit there. He's going to get a free one against Markelov, as he did manage to kind of maneuver his way through them. The 4 remaining on Flipside are going to be split up a little bit, but this is a very small consequence considering the bomb's current position and the remaining positions for the 3 guys on Big. They're all sitting up on the A side right now. I think one is swinging downstairs currently. The site won't be as open as it appears right now, but Nex gets himself into a battle with 2 of the remaining 4. He's grabbed one against World at it, but he's still got 3 bullets left in the AK. It's a good thing, though, as that last T up there is not going to actually choose the challenge as he falls away from it, and now they bought themselves enough time for the CTs to rotate back down. Legia fails in the first still there, but Gabi adjusts. However, he's going to get traded out. Nex, in the meantime, took down Blade in a pursuit, and they're just barely going to get this plant on the ground, I do think. 2 seconds left, they'll achieve it, and Nex goes in to chase this. It'll go down to a 1v1, and Electronic's going to get the heck out of the site. He falls back over here outside of Monster and is going to swing back in again. Challenge Nex.
And runs straight into the bomb side and just gets the kill. Electronic knowing exactly what's happening, grabbing a quick 3k there, casually, just getting that done and taking out the last player on this Big lineup. But to be honest, they got that down to a 1v1. That was a pistol-only round for Big. So despite them not winning that, that was actually pretty good.
Very controlled by Electronic at the end there, as you did say. They're completely outclasses Nex as he tries to go in for the sort of sneaky play at Heaven, but he wraps out, and the first place he checks is exactly where his opponent was peeking. So he was able to shut down that 1v1 really quickly and still keep this, for the time being, a very perfect match for Flipside. But for the first time in a while, on an eco round, that's good damage being done against Flipside, as prior to this, they were basically having free reign on those and surviving with like 3 to 4 players on every single occurrence of it. Now we go right back to, however, Flipside capitalizing on the earlier aggression from Big. As Waylander gets some good damage against Kiev, and unfortunately this time Kiev's not going to be able to run away from it. He just barely somehow escapes that with 9 HP, but much like many of the rounds before it, they're not going to choose to play against this anymore because of that. They go right back to the site, and they'll wait for the impending push from Flipside.
Well, did it on an AWP as well, of course, the Op Star. For Flipside, of course, as older fans will remember, Markelov used to be that man back in 1.6. He's now switched into a slightly different role. Will pick up the AWP now and then, but it's not like his weapon as it was in 1.6. Well, it's definitely the one that they are prioritizing on this Flipside team when they're buying an AWP. And Waylander, of course, coming in with Finnish descent, but also, of course, not living in Finland, kind of like Alex on LDLC, if I'm not mistaken. But he is also one of these players that can just explode onto a bomb site when they get that entry from, for example, World Edit.
Well, with 45 seconds on the clock, Flipside have not done anything else aggressive yet here. They will need to make a push very soon. The bomb's still sitting way in the back, though. It's just now crossing the threshold over there by the playground. And I imagine it's going to group up now with the players over here on short A. Definitely going to be an A push with the time remaining. No time left to rotate back over to the other site. But just now deploying the smokes, so they need to push in pretty quickly here. And Big are ready for this one. They've got 2, potentially 3 players up on the site and ready to defend it. Nex is going to be first at the bat, but the flashbangs put him in a bit of an awkward spot. Thankfully, his teammates draw some of the pressure off of him, getting as much intel as he can, but he can't net any kills. It's taps and it swings out, grabs the first one. Kiev's gotten one as well, but Blade then goes down directly after that. It's left to a 3-on-3 at the end of the day, but 2 of the 3 remaining CTs are still down at the B bomb, so they only just now got the warning, and both are rotating back up. They're not going to try to flank against Cadet or anything like that, so it's going to be a very direct attempt at a retake. They don't really have a whole lot of utility to do it either. They had that single flashbang, which you just heard now being tossed out, and now one more Molotov sitting on Legia. Electronic gets the read on it, catches the first player over by Monster. He's going to try to transfer the spray. That will lead to his death, but not until after he gets a kill against Legia. Now 2v2, but there's no time left. These CTs are making no progress at all, and they're going to call it off completely to go back and save.
Yeah, definitely. Kiev, of course, being on 9 HP for almost the entirety of the round after that early peak, which kind of did not work out as intended. And once again, I think it's kind of the idea of Kiev being so good at the game that he just does not expect his opponents to catch him off and punish him. But they do that once again, and he's on 9 HP with an AWP. He has to rotate back and hold a very defensive angle. He gets 1 kill in that round, and I could imagine that being very much different if he didn't lose that duel to begin with and just played more defensively. But then again, it's hard to force guys to play into a playstyle that they don't like or that they don't enjoy.
I can see Flipside actually looking, you know, very satisfied with themselves in the way they started off this match. They're feeling good. A little bit laid back, if I do say so myself, in the way that they're playing it. But this is very different from the last time I saw them, which was actually at the iBuyPower event that happened back over in November too, where they were looking very distraught, very disconnected in the way that they were playing. And I mean, the faces were a lot more saddened, I guess you could say, but the way that they were performing there. But this time it's looking really good as they're off to a hot start. Still plenty of way to go here, of course. If Big, you know, I believe they're in a pause right now. If Big start to turn this around, they still have plenty of chances to get back into the game. But if things continue in their current state, then I mean, Flipside are looking incredible.
Yeah, definitely. What they need really is they need for Kiva Next to start up, because when you have players like Kiva Next who are not on good terms with their playing style, when they're not getting the frags, when they're not getting the openings or the revenge frags and stuff like that, it's very hard for a team like Big, who relies on players like them to do most of the frag work. If they're not going, then it's going to be incredibly hard. On the other side, we do have the players that needs to frag. On the flip side, Electronic, for example, is going off getting kills left, right, and center. World Edit hasn't made a big impact with the orb yet, but he's surely going to make it in the remaining parts of this game, so they're looking fine. Big on the other side, I think Gorby is actually top fragging, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but he's at 4 frags right now. And if Gorby is top fragging, then Nex and Kiev definitely has some work to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And another big player too that I don't think that S brought up a whole lot was Waylander, actually, who I think is one of the more consistent players on Flipside across, you know, every condition, whether it's, you know, whether they're in a losing position or whether they're, you know, dominating. We still always see him within the first like 1 to 3 positions on the kill feed. So he's been doing a good job ever since he joined up with this team. I think back towards like fall of last year is when he grouped up with them after the Cologne major coming off of Gambit. So anyway, getting back into the action now, and it's going to be another gun round as Big do choose to invest here.
Yeah, not a lot of utility, or not perfect utility on the CT side, while on the Terror side they have every single grenade they want in this end. Tapson right now just trying to jump over and spot something, but Electronic just hiding. He's stepping now, so he definitely knows that something's going on Tapson.
You can see that stepping, so maybe trying to get him to keep doing that jump and see if he can bait him out for a teammate, but he's going to fall back anyway. Just moves away from it entirely. And the flip side again, very spread out this time, actually. We'd seen pretty decisive movements leading up to short A prior to this one, but they've lost that pressure now. Good flashbang is going to prevent Key from getting that kill to the player that just crossed out from connector. But again, this is a distraction. Keep in mind where the bomb is currently positioned. They did this a few rounds ago too, where they drew everybody off of that B bomb site, and they were able to essentially walk into it. Unfortunately, this time though, they didn't have the assistance of having 1 or 2 kills beforehand, so this attempt to walk right in does not work out. Gabi's going to grab that first frag. It takes down Waylander, and now the alarms have been sounded. Unfortunately, though, Gabi will get traded out. We're down to a 4v4. World Edit just got another kill against Legia walking in, and the rotations once more are coming in a bit slowly, so we're only just now starting to see the A players move in to this site after everybody from Flipside has already sort of flooded it here. They've got time to molly out towards CT. They try to do that boost, but World Edit reads it like a book. That's his 3rd kill on this round alone. He's going to be able to walk right up, find the plant, which, in all honesty, may not even be necessary at this point. Kiev is just going to run away and give this one up after the guys from Flipside do plant it.
Yeah, and I think this is the last thing that they need to have a perfect game right now, Flipside. That is World Edit to step up and maybe get that AWP entering towards the bomb side. And he does not just get the entry, he gets a triple kill, and a perfect one at that. Doesn't even lose a single point of HP, so this is looking very, very good for Flipside. And Big needs to change something up right now. And we talked about Legia as well before this game began. He's not got a single frag yet. And he is, of course, as you say, a player that in some situations can rack up kills, but right now he's just not.
His map pool, like I said, is very interesting in the way that he sort of shows up to games, and this is not one of the ones that we've known him to come in and be a really big force for the Big roster. And we do see Kiev tries to take that duel at the top side of the bathroom connector there, and it does pair off badly. He goes down to the last second, and they will lose that one saved gun.
So very one-sided so far. The German team definitely needs some help to get on the back of this one and get back into the game. We are, of course, on German soil here in Leipzig, so surely the crowd will try to help them out and send all the energy, just like Dragon Ball Z and form that Genki Dama. Send that energy in, the memes, the references. But yeah, right now they're on a very scrappy buy and they need everything they can get in luck.
So Waylander pushes through once again over here up towards Party, hunting for that pretty consistent 1 or 2 players that tend to peek out from the bathrooms here to challenge Waylander or anybody else. But finally, there's a frag from Leggy with a scout of all guns from the backside over here. Waylander, however, Hill's going to pick up the op. He's spotted that cross, I believe, from Leggy over there towards the tree position, but he fails to adjust for it and misses the shot. So he's going to get tagged once again down to 29 HP. He knows things might get a little bit rough, and it's just in time too. He threw that gun away at perfect timing as a second later, Keeve walks up and takes him down. The op, though, will not go into the hands of Big, and that's a very big key.
Oh, there we go. 3v5 right now, but still weapons in the advantage of Flipside. Blade just holding this position here, making sure that he's not going to get flanked while the rest of his team are setting up for a push. And to the other position, but Tabson is there with the P250. Should be getting that one, but should be getting the round at least. And Markle with 16 HP. The energy has worked, and Big are on the verge of getting their first round of this game.
And now it's just Markelov trying to do as much damage as he can, but he's not going to be able to do anything. Tabson will shut it down, and finally, Big have gotten themselves onto the board.
Very good job from Big there, finally getting back. Not in the round that we expected them to get back in, to be honest. But nonetheless, they'll take that round, and they'll be absolutely fine with that. Big now on the scoreboard finally. 1-7 is the score. They're going to be able to buy up here. They're going to get that 8 BP on Keeve. He has money to spare as well. Flipside, on the other hand, opting to go for the full AK, so we could see something quick from them right now.
Now we're going to try to kick things right back into action here, but Gabi throws in the Molotov. They don't matter, though. They walk in and actually dink him through the barrels, too. He's down to 39 HP. The Molotov rolls in. He has to waste his smoke on it. Electronic is already taking down his teammate. That's Leggy gone. Roll that doesn't care. He's going to jump up on top. They haven't actually spotted Gabi yet. He somehow remained a mystery here still. So he's going to sneak in 1 kill. Keeve found one from further back, too, as the CTs tried to rotate in over there from short A. But still is left to a 2v3 with the last 2 already being revealed. So they're going to be able to set up for this one pretty nicely. They still have to account for the possibility that someone would wrap up through connector and go back down, but for the most part, their attention is going to be drawn over here toward the construction and monster push, which Keeve, he's going to waste no time going in, but he didn't expect a player to be that close. He's already lost next. That's a nice flick from Keeve, but he's very quickly traded out by Markelov to put the control right back into the hands of Flipside.
Yeah, and that was a perfect decision from Flipside. They have been running fairly slow plays throughout the entire game. The first time around that Big get into the game, feel like they can control the game once again, winning that round, he's going to play something quick, and he gets into the bomb side with his team, gets that bomb down, gets in post-plant position, and just rolls it down. And there's nothing Keeve can do when trying to retake with an AWP from that angle. It's going to be incredibly hard. And once again, we see Big forced into this kind of weird scrappy by 2 scouts right now. So Keeve, what can he do with this one? Does some damage. That's good. That's a good beginning. Let's see if he can get that. He gets Waylander. Second guy close. That's Blade taking him down. So now it's 4v4.
Goes down to that one, and we can see the rest of Flipside are going to react to that one now by going in for fast, long control to stop anyone else from pushing in against them here. And you've got Next playing over here at the lower connector steps. It's a bit weird, though, because we really haven't seen anybody from Flipside try to play like that steps area to push over there towards connector. They've been avoiding connector for the most part, but on these Zika rounds, it's still a fairly consistent thing to see Next or somebody else play at the bottom of these steps and wait for someone to move in, despite the fact that pretty much this entire half of our Flipside have basically ignored that connector.
Let's see Next. Still having that connector, Tabson in the headshot position behind the wall, and he's been backed up by Leipzig. Not quite sure why he wants to peek there, but he does go for it and dies eventually. So much damage being done with these scouts, and finally a couple of kills coming in. Blade burns Next, and now it's Legija all alone here on the bomb side, gets shot down, and Gorby, the team captain, the brilliant mind behind BIG, the notorious one. Can he get this? 1v3 with the C-75.
Like, he had a tag too, one of which is still alive right now. So if he can find Electronic out, he's got a chance to find at least one more kill. Also retreating the scout off his dead teammate, but not checking downstairs there. So he will very quickly meet his end without getting any of those 3 potential kills. And there you go. It's another round for Flipside as they continue to rack them up.
Rack him up. And once again, Electronic still racking up frags as well. He's on 15 right now, I believe, and doing quite well for himself. Of course, the newer player here in the Flipside lineup. Of course, another lineup that is completely new is Big, and this is their first big event on home soil as well, so they would want to make a big impression here, but so far it's not looking good. That one round they won, the crowd got up and cheered, but there has not been much cause for celebration, and I think the German fans need a bit more here. Keeve, let's see what he can do.
Keeve missing that first shot, a little bit late on it here, but he gives himself the smoke to buy him time to jump up on top of Flower Pot once again. He got a kill here before, but this is when Flipside went all in basically on that long push with 2 or 3 players. This time, though, it's not the case. They're holding back and playing the time in a lot more. And they're actually using this connector. As we can see, Markaloff pushing into it there, too. So he's going to move in for the steps. Nobody from Big is positioned. Their players is, again, unless it's been eco rounds, they've usually had only 1 or 2 guys pushing out for short A. And then very quickly after they take their first couple of shots or they catch any pressure, they've fallen back to the site or this area they're playing towards now, which is the really far back bathroom spot. It's going to work, though, as Keeve does land the sink shot there on the Waylander when he tries to get aggressive and peek in there. So they've got the man advantage. Now, Flipside are on makeup duty here. They're going to try to have to move in. Good flashbang against Keeve. It baits him into making another shot. That's going to be a lot of room that Flipside will be able to use, but they don't really do that. They're just happy with forcing him back for the time being.
Yeah, they're still setting up here. Now going with 2 guys towards long. Worlded is setting up the smoke, so we should expect an A push coming in seconds now with 35 seconds remaining. Next, can he hold this position? That's the question, because if he gets overrun, Keeve is going to be in a very tough spot right now. And flashes in, but Keeve misses the shot. The terrorists are going in right now, and Next is still holding that angle.
Both the Opera's missing, and we can see here, too, the jumping coming out from the top side. Next is going to try to challenge it a bit more. He actually goes on to the Opera there, but Electronic is able to save his teammate's life. And oh, Keeve ends up getting 2 players there. The second player he kills actually his initial target, but then Electronic out of nowhere gets 2 kills. He's now low, though, at 13 HP. He's going to be handled by Gabi, who is waiting safely on the site to shut down that final player.
The coach also comes in and taps Keeve on the shoulder because he knows that was a big play coming out of him, and that was exactly what they needed. They need their star players to step it up and do these individual rounds here and get these frags. And what a great play from Keeve here is pressured a lot. He hits that first guy and then goes for the second frag as well in that and gets a triple in the end. So well played by Keeve, well played by Big to get back into this one. But let's see here, Flipside still has tons of money, so that's not even an issue right now.
Keeps right back onto the party wall there, but again, doesn't see anything initially, so he's going to fall right back into the same positions he's been playing. It's a very repeatable thing, but it gets dangerous in the fact that because he does this on almost every single round he's up, Flipside can just grab the read on this after a few repeats and just start to abuse this. And they already kind of are doing this with how quickly Waylander's pushing in towards A long. Look at this, he's basically already up to the site. And there's no one here because they know that they never put anyone in this position. He's going to walk right in, gets that kill, and he gets the second one, too, against Tapson. That takes some balls to stay out there with only 13 HP, but it works. And now Nex is cornered here. He's picked up 1 kill against Blade. It'll be very quickly traded out by Markaloff. Then Gabi rolls in. He's able to finally take down Waylander, but he's already done massive damage. The good news is, though, is that there was really no one else on the site. So they pushed them back down for now, mainly due to the heroics of Gabi, but they're also waiting out in the open to see if any of these CTs want to get too aggressive to where they could punish them from their current positions.
Shot comes in from Electronic now. It's all on the gear, and he's going to get shot down as well. Worlded it takes him down, and once again, Big gets around, and then they are immediately taken out afterwards. So it's not good for both their economy, but also their confidence. Feeling like, okay, now we can do this, we can get back into the game, and then you just get slammed straight after. And once again, as I talk about the economy, they're going to be on a full eco right now. A P250 is all that's purchased on 2 players. Deagle comes in from Keeve. I was expecting that. There we go. Let's hope that he can do something, because right now it's looking very, very bleak for the Big side. If they're going to go out 13-2 or something like that in this first half, it's not looking doable at all on that CT side, on that T side.
So once again, back down to just the upgraded pistols, and the biggest one they bring is going to be Keeve's Deagle here. All he has to work with here and trying to do some massive damage. He does choose to stick around this time at the top of the bathroom connector, but it's not going to pay off. He's immediately handled by Blade as they take him down. Just going to move in here to check to make sure there's no one else positioned here. The rest of the Big will have to adjust accordingly, but I don't imagine Flipside are going to waste too much time now that they've taken down this player. They always know, they should know by this point, I should say, that he's usually the guy that plays out aggressively, which means that for the most, they're only going to have 1 or 2 more guys sitting over here on this A bomb site. They very rarely as well have gone for like a full commitment beyond that, even on these eco rounds, so they should know they have a pretty easy ticket to swinging onto the side, especially from A-Long too, which has been a very weakly defended area this map overall from Big in this half.
Here we go. Goes in towards the side. Waylander gets one. Blade gets one as well. Gobi's trying to hold it down, but surely he will be taken out as well. And it's 1 man standing for Big. And it's going to be a tough one.
Haven't spotted Nike in that corner. So
oh, well.
he manages to sneak that 1 kill in, but much like many rounds in the past, it's that 1 kill and it's a 1 kill alone, as it's very quickly traded back in by the Flipside guys.
Yeah, so definitely looking good from Flipside. The executions are on point. Not really much the Big could do in that round. They only had the pistols, and despite that, they get 1 kill from it. That's fine, but it's not what they're looking for, and they are not even looking for economic damage anymore, stuff like that. They need some rounds on the table, and they need them desperately in order to have a chance. They need 4-11. If they don't get 4-11, it's pretty much over, unless they mount the most insane comeback. But let's see here, they have the upgraded pistols once again. They needed that. from the eco in the last round where they invested a bit in people being on 1400, and now Electronic, look at that, he's just walking straight in.
So many rounds these guys have been able to get really free access. Not only him too, but look, Blade's walking in here too. They're just gonna walk right up to the site, and despite the smoke, still is able to trace the kill through it to be able to take down Legia there. Markelov, shot from somewhere, it takes him a minute to realize where it's coming from, but he does catch the guys moving in. Here's Waylander though, who didn't even push forward from this spot. He's waiting for these guys to move in. Next does check it, but it doesn't matter. This is AK just gonna make the remaining CTs cannon fodder from this range. Gob B has no health left. It's easy pickings for Blade, and Tabs are up in heaven. He doesn't last very long either. Another round, which is just a walk in the park for the Flipside players as they're continuing to crush this half.
I think it's actually a really good read from Blade, to be honest, because last time that they were forced into this kind of eco situation, they actually stacked on their A bomb side. So they're just walking in with 2 players to check out the B bomb side and then see, okay, there's not much going on here, no one is facing us, and then they can push in. And that just works out perfectly. And with the pistols, there's nothing they can do in the retakes. And now it's 12-2, last buy round in this first half, last round in the first half, and Big needs this one desperately.
Gabi is gonna, despite the Molotov, decide to push through here. World at up close actually misses a point-blank shot, and Gabi is going to be able to capitalize on that one now. Very quickly falling back. He does not pick up the op, actually. Just going to leave it on the ground there. Smokes things off and decides to fall back a little bit. So they've got something to work with here. Electronic as well, who once again was able to walk through Monster unrestricted. But Gabi, with a good challenge, grabs his second kill. Next finds the third against Waylander. So just like that, it's down to only 1 now, as Markelov has also been eliminated. They did not spot the bomb yet, but Blade in a 1v5. Obviously, the chances are looking a bit slim here. As he does walk in, there's actually nobody paying attention to Monster once more. So Blade able to get that first kill essentially for free since no one is paying attention to him. He takes down Kiev, but can't really go anywhere else from there. So he's going to hold back. He tries to pick up one more, but it's not going to pay off. Next will shut it down, and we'll see a third round go up on the board to close out the half for Big.
So Big now desperately in need of the pistol round as well. This is basically, yeah, if they don't get this, it's going to be incredibly hard. But look at that from Gob B, actually getting that first one, challenging the orb, then going down and getting that kill down towards Monster as well. So good individual performance there from the in-game leader of the German BIG team, grabbing that round, and Kiev, yeah, he's ready. He looks ready.
Suave.
He's a suave man. And we should be going live in this second half any second now, boys. Let's see what they have in store for us. Gob B, what can he bring to the table here?
It's going to take a little bit more than well-timed winks to be able to round out a big comeback, though, with that much of a deficit, 12-3. Pretty much, I mean, guaranteed at this point that if Flipside take the pistol and don't get immediately upset in that second round force buy that we'll probably see, it's going to be GG at that point, as that would pretty much get them up to 15 rounds, and then the guys from Big need to run 12 straight just to tie it and take it into OT.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly hard. Big are no slouches, though, so it is still possible. Well, everything can happen in a game of CS, and that's the beauty of it, but statistically, yeah, pretty much, if that pistol round goes to the way of Flipside, it's the hopes are diminished. But let's see here, we have a tactical genius on the German side here in Gob B. He has played in so many teams, led them to victory, and now he's trying once again to bring it back from an incredibly hard position here. And right now he's 2 players with utility, and actually a Molotov on Gob B as well, so this is going to be incredibly interesting how they're going to use this.
Moving out towards the long there, too, and swinging pretty much everybody together except for Nex, who is sitting back down over there at the bottom of the steps. I think they're aware of it, though, and yep, well, if they weren't before, they certainly are now. And he's fired off their shots already. Whirlwind, though, hit by a flashbang, allows Tapson to sneak in there, and oh, the jump and the follow-up gets another headshot against Blade. Electronic, though, nice smooth tap, doesn't let him to get another kill, but then Kiev responds on his own. That's going to take down Electronic. 4 versus 2 now, and Markelov already falling back off of the site to regroup with Waylander. He didn't want to risk himself that early on. They're going to play for the retake instead, but with both of them being smoked off at their respective angles, this is going to be tough. Waylander jumps right in, though, doesn't even care, but he's going to very quickly be handled by Legia. Markelov now trying to do what he can, but this is pretty much over. Unless there's a miracle from Markelov, it is going to be Big that will take control of the pistol here. And there you go, he's going right for it, 46 HP. They take him down, and Big playing the pistol and have a chance to get back into this game now.
The dream is alive. The dream is alive for the Germans as they move on past that pistol round, and now we'll move into MAC-10 territory. Sure, there's going to be a MAC-10 on one of these teams, and we actually get the double MAC-10 on the T side. On the other side, Flipside are going to be purchasing these upgraded pistols, armors in some of them, and only 1 smoke and 1 nade, so we're probably going to see some aggressive play coming out from Flipside here.
And most of them sticking together here, still on the Big side of things, as they all move up towards Fountain and Playground and past that. The guys on Flipside did move forward aggressively, and they are holding these positions too. It's unlike Big and what we were seeing in that last half. Electronic over here in the Rocket Long. He's going to be first to be challenged. Gets that 5-7 kill, but then is quickly traded out, as we should generally expect. They've spotted another further back down here, but Keeve is wise enough actually not to push all the way through to the likelihood of, you know, Blade just being here in this steps position to trade him out should he get that first kill. So he's going to try to play angles that counter out against this. Unfortunately, that we won't actually see Blade and World that it's try to stick together for too much longer. Blade's just going to duck his head down and wait to see if anybody else tries to move through. But Big's intentions are almost entirely focused on A long at this point, so I doubt they're going to see too much else happening over here, with the exception of Nex, who now is sneaking in.
Yeah, they definitely know it's going to be an A push because they have a player in T spawn right now, the CTs from Flipside. So the question is, can they hold this push when they know it's coming with these very, very small pistols that they have?
Well, you know, they're not really moving beyond the T-spawn area. He hasn't pushed himself up. World has the lineup there, and there you go. There's a shot on the Keeve. Looking for a second one now. He's got him about halfway. Takes a little bit to whittle these players down. Unfortunately, Markelov has been eliminated, so the easy close on some of the low HP guys is no longer available. Blade with a swift rotate, working his way back over there from that connector. Him along with the still alive World, and they're going to try to do some damage, and Waylander, too, just takes the battle from long range with the 5-7 there. Brings one of them down very low. He's got the Mac 10 to play with, too. Notices one of these guys is getting close, but Gob B, well, he's taking down World at it. Next handles Waylander. It's fallen to Blade. He dinks one of them, and the other player's only at 51 HP, but Gabi down at 7 is actually going to close things out. And there you go. A little bit dodgy there, but they still managed to close out the round.
Good job by Big there, closing that one out without dropping it. But to be honest, that was a good round from Flipside. They came incredibly close to taking that one. And as you mentioned, they had that one guy in T-spawn, and he was not flanking at all. He was just holding that position. He was expecting them to rotate back onto the other bomb side, and as that didn't happen, his flank didn't really become useful in any point when they went towards the A bomb side. And he came in late at long and just, well, he got one frag, that's pretty good, but that guy was damaged as well. So it's not really that big of an impact from a big flank that could have been very impactful. So now it's 5-12. Full eco coming out from Flipside, who wants to buy in the next one. So we're probably going to see swift, clean, and easy coming out from the Germans here.
Keeve again is jump checking all these positions as he tries to look for somebody who may want to peek out here. As Flipside go into the full eco round. These are the ones where you may see some more creative stuff from the CTs, positionally speaking, just to try and edge out 1 or 2 more kills, as they know they're probably going to have a very, very low chance of actually winning the rounds. We can see the 3-stack here in this sort of staging area just at the entrance towards short A.
He's running out of bullets.
Yeah. Still got like a clip and 2/3 though, so he's got plenty more to whittle away. But finally the full commitment comes in. This is where the trap can be sprung, but he gets 2 out of 3 before finally going down to Markelov. And the rest of the T's, well, they're long gone. All this attention being drawn. In the meantime, the rest of Big are working their way over here into the B site. However, Waylander's ready for it. He tries to challenge it, but he ends up running into a wall of T's, at which point he'll be very quickly dispatched.
So here we go. Last couple of frags coming in for Big as they grab round number 6. And now only 6 rounds behind, tying us up in this second match of the day here at DreamHack Leipzig. It is hard to pronounce, but it is a wonderful event and a wonderful venue and a wonderful city as well. So let's see here what round number 19 brings us. Of course, the buy round coming in for both teams. 2 Terrys staying on those UMP-45s to save economy for the coming rounds. No AWP on the CT side either, and lacking utility on some of the players. A flashbang here and there.
Very quickly, again, the guys from Flipside actually don't stick around here too much like they were doing on the eco rounds. They do actually go to their respective positions. World at it was going to be left here in the connector, but he too decides to fall away from this one, taking a page out of Big's book. They're actually going to go right back to the site and play it away from here and give Big pretty much free reign over short and long A for the time being.
Electronic holding that angle again. They're playing very defensively on these bomb sites, and now they're deciding to push out a little bit, just Electronic checking the angles, making sure that no one can surprise him. Now getting into that headshot angle behind the wall here with a teammate baiting for him. So now they know that there's one player towards the A bomb site, and they probably think that he's going to rotate back, and they still have Electronic in that very, very cool position. So if Big decides to go towards that A bomb site, it's going to be incredibly hard for them because of Electronic's position, as we see here.
They've got Next as well lurking down over there towards the B site too, and he may get himself a chance as those guys are playing pretty close to Monster, but he bails out before any of it actually comes to light. So he'll be regrouping with these guys here in just a moment as the other 3 kind of get prepped to push in again through long A here, which has been kind of a favorite execute angle, not only for Big, but for Flipside here too, as we go back to their T side at half. World at it though will be ready to challenge as he holds the Monster spot. His other teammate's gonna have to join in though. Electronic really paying attention towards the short A pushes. He'll have himself a battle with Next in a second, but that could actually change too if his attention gets too heavily drawn over here. In they go though, and all their attention's on Next. There's no support system at all here for World as he gets flashed out. He does trade out the 1 kill, but he's got a lot more to do, and he cannot do it. Tapson is gonna knock him out, and this goes into a 3-on-3 because of that.
Let's see here, Legia on 9 HP though, and 28 on Tapson, so this is doable for Flipside to retake this. Tapson though, close range with the UMP 45. It's going to be the first line of defense for the Germans here. Markelov coming in through bank, taken out by Tapson. Go for that second one, he's going to get it as well. And now it's all on Blade. 1v3 for the legend of Flipside, and Tapson does the job once again. UMP 45 not going to get it. Blade running in towards the bomb site, but he will not get it. It's going to be a German round, and the home crowd, they're feeling it.
Filled up there. They're on the way back in now, so that's going to make it 12-7. Just a few rounds away. Now is the point where this actually is really palpable that they've actually managed to make it through quite a few of these gunners. But keep in mind, of course, making it through this one was the 1 eco for Flipside, and they're going to buy up just even heavier going into the next round. And I imagine an op will make its way into the buy next time too. So that's the real big test point. However, with the scoreline getting that much closer, Big can afford to lose that round, and they still have a realistic chance of battling back in the game now too. Now that Flipside are still yet to actually claim a single round in this half.
Yeah, definitely. So here you do see Legia holding down a very defensive position in the connector, and you can see as well the entire terrorist team just staying way back right now, not moving into any aggressive positions. Don't want to get surprised by aggressive pistols coming out from the CTs, and that's in my opinion a very, very wise move and a good way to play these anti-ecos. So kudos to Big for doing that, but also Gopi, of course, incredibly smart and talented in-game leader. He knows exactly what to do in a situation like this.
So Flipside again, though, falling back and away from this one. Not trying to play anything super aggressive here. They do actually hold some good spots. Blade there has a really nice angle, with which he's able to take down Tabson. He has himself a bit of a battle with the second player. He needs to be cautious, though. These guys moving in from the lower side of that one, along with the alt tunnel. He'll get himself an assistance from another player. This is where this could get a little bit too dangerous. Thankfully, though, they've actually let Flipside hold this. They're not going to go in to re-challenge it. Next is trying to sneak in here now, and that's going to work out. He finally takes down Blade. So he's got the trade, brings it down to a 4v4 again. And the bomb actually is going to rotate in the other direction just to be safe. Legia will move back in with his other teammate over here into water, so they've gotten control. But you know they should definitely have an early warning system set up now to rotate back down to be his flip side. They hold it. There's Waylander with the Deagle, who's going to be able to net a kill into Legia. Lines up another one, but the shots don't connect this time, and they'll start to move in through construction too. Nex absolutely destroys World Edit there, so they get themselves up to the site. They still have two guys isolated here in a pit, and Waylander losing a lot of health to that Molotov, which is going to make it easy for Nex to close out. Gavi finding one of the last two, and he almost kills that last guy through the smoke. It'll be Nex that nets it after he goes down, but still another closeout for Big as they continue to close the gap.
Yeah, definitely. And Nex now finally getting back into the game. He's one of these players that when he gets rolling on momentum, he's just going to be powering and plowing through people. And that round was a 4K from him, so very good job. Now it's going to be the buy round. This is very, very important. If Big gets this one, the comeback is definitely real, and it could happen. But if Flipside shuts it down now, it's going to be very, very, very hard for them. World at its AWP, and the AWP battle between him and Kiev probably going to be one of the deciding factors of this round. And Blade starts it out on Tapson, who went very aggressive apparently onto short. Blade once again double kill.
Fast towards both Water and Monster too, and they're moving in. Nex finally grabs a kill for these guys, but Waylander's here. Waylander, though, can't decide on a target, so Nex is going to find yet another one to pick up. Now we've got two more working their way back in for the CTs all of a sudden through construction. They got that lock on the Legia, so that's going to be the bomb that goes down. World Edit picking up an additional kill too, and all of a sudden, it's just down to Nex at 24 HP. Big moving into the site, perhaps a little bit too quickly. They don't leave anybody behind to watch out for that flank, and the really quick retake that comes in from those two players on Flipside through construction acts as a sudden surprise, and it leaves Nex all in his lonesome here to try and clutch.
Let's see, 1v3, he does get the bomb down, so secure some more money in the bank. Well, let's see, can he actually win this? Nade in hand, and the Deagle as well, and a Dream, of course.
He's playing out to the headshot angle, so he's smart about it at least, but now changing his own spot. They haven't checked towards it yet, so he's going to get one of the two kills. I'm not sure if he spotted that second player in the pit, but regardless, Electronic is going to take him down on the jump up, finishing the job, and now finally putting Flipside on the board in the second half.
What a run from Blade, though, coming in and getting 2 entries towards the bomb side. He's not usually the guy to do that. So with him getting those entries, that's a very, 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 not easy, but open round for Flipside to go into a bomb side. And pretty much only Nex trying to do something. He got a 3K in the end, which is, of course, fine. But if the rest of the team can't follow him, then it doesn't really matter that much. He will get some stats, of course, that's great. But no one really cares about that. They care about the wins here, and that's what matters.
Well, now with Flipside having their first win in the half, they can get right back to holding on to the lead if they can break this T-side really quickly after it. In maybe 1 or 2 more rounds, they should be able to put them in that position, and that will almost secure them the game at that point anyway. So that becomes the big goal here against Big. No pun intended. But as we can see, Flipside here getting a little bit more confidence now that they have the gunpowder to do so. World that it waits with the op back over here. Now we have seen that aggressive jumping before, and that's what he's watching out for now to see if the players are going to repeat that. I doubt they will, considering we're past that anti-eco phase. They still are getting prepped to push out here, where they may be able to meet themselves a little bit of a mini battle at the entrance to Short A.
Let's see here, Electronic holding down defensively. Blade is on some kind of weird position, but now rotating back, as is World at it with that AWP. Surely he's going to go and watch over long now with that rifle, as the push is well, incoming right now, and he just jumps up, tests it out, sees one opponent, and now knows he has to hold that angle with his orb, because there's at least one terrorist down that lane.
Still though, World at it, now that he's spotted it, he has to assume that there's going to be a little bit more power coming in from this direction, since I believe if he spotted the boost up, you should know there's at least two from that spot.
That's
now.
actually true.
Probably safe to assume that there's going to be at least one trying to sneak his way in through lower two to try to act as a player to grab the kills while the long guys are the distraction. But anyway, they move in, and Kiev peeks a little bit early there. World at it, speaking of which, is out in the open, but he doesn't care. He's grabbed 2 kills for himself. Legia finally responds to one of his own. Electronic, oh my goodness, that's a huge slip up, as now it's given Legia the key to get into the site with Tabson. All of a sudden, we're even again into a 3-on-3, where Flipside had previously held full control of this site. It's pushed them back. Waylander, though, restores the piece as he moves in. He takes down Legia, and Markelov destroys Tabson as he tries to get aggressive. There's only 5 seconds on the clock, but Nex is going to go down within those 5, and Flipside will close out the round.
Oh, that was scary for a second. And that is just not what you want to have happen. Being in that position, knowing the terrorists are coming in, swarming the bomb site, you just click on the wrong pad on your mouse, and oh, there it is. Oh, that is heartbreaking. But luckily for his team, they can bring that back and take that round. So that mistake did not destroy the hopes of Flipside there. But now it's 14-8, and a very weird round coming in from Big. They actually spent a bunch of time here in T-Spawn just trying to figure out what are we going to do here. A couple of pistols, 2 AKs, and some utilities. So this is this smells like an execute, and a quick one at that. So let's see here. They of course want to spend some time here making sure that the CTs aren't pushing him, holding down that map control. And this is why, basically, if Nex gets this kill, that round could actually be
so bad.
Oh wow, that is exactly why they play that defensive position, because they know that at this point the CTs might be prone to come in and play that aggressively. And now the execute is actually happening, but they are 1 man down. Wayland is low on HP, but still they're 1 man down in this one.
Waylander already sitting low at 18 HP, but as you mentioned, the man advantage is what is far more important here for Flipside, as they do need to close out this game, and crushing rounds like this without too many players being traded out is what's going to be key to be able to do that, to hold the overarching just power advantage over them when it comes to like utility and gunpowder, as we've seen here in like our last game, and part of these halves too. But regardless, now we are starting to see the big guys move in here. Wayland's actually first at the bat, and it doesn't last very long. Kind of standing in the open, unfortunately. He's going to be easy pickings. Markelov from down in the pit, he gives himself away, but doesn't connect any damage at all. It's World that actually, that's the first kill in this battle here by taking down Kiev. We still have Markelov trying to do what he can from the pit, but unfortunately he's been rather unsuccessful to this point. There we go, though. 2 kills, and then World at it to close out. Flipside, pushing themselves through, are now in a great position to close out this match.
Yeah, definitely. Big trying their very best to get back into the game, and actually succeeded somehow of not getting completely destroyed. Actually started the hope for me and everyone else in this arena here to get that big win coming in. But in the last couple of rounds, we just see Flipside just taking over the control once again, saying, nah, now you had your fun, now we're going to come in and take the rest of these rounds here. Waylander with that aggressive play once again. World with the orb, he spots one now. You know he has to get the hell out of there and just run quick. Put those Nikes on and just get out of there.
He's going to fall back, swings out wide, misses the shot, but Blade's there to support. He's going to be able to drop Legia and grab a second one too. Kiva tries to push in. More going to move out, but they're there to trade this time. Tabson is going to take down Blade. Smokes at the entrance to the bathroom, so the guys over here on the CT side can't do much. We do see the Opera peeking in. It's going to cause some hesitance on both sides as the Opera swings way back over there. That will be World at it falling back over to the site. Tabson, though, hesitated too, as he was a bit scared of being taken down since he was caught with a nade in hand, so he doesn't have enough time to chase him back safely. Both are just going to respectfully back away from each other. For the time being, it'll be a bit stalemated now towards the A site.
Let's see here, 3v4, 1 man advantage towards Flipside, as we saw in the last round. But 3 AKs though for Big, and they have the utility. 2 flashbangs and 2 smokes still remaining. Use the flashbangs to get into position, and now the smokes will come in towards this A bomb site and cut off the rotations from the CTs, if I'm not mistaken. But once again, World at it in this position with the orb. He's just, there's no one next to him. He's just so good at this.
think you should know where both of them are too. I'm not sure if the guy had long shot at it. Oh, actually, I don't think I think it was just the guy at bathrooms who was shooting. I mistook that first volley for the guy at long doing it, but it wasn't the case. So he doesn't pay attention to it. Taps gonna grab that second kill too. Electronic trades, but then Taps and swings in there with the spray to grab Electronic. He's got 20 seconds left, but it's in the 1v1, and he moves out. He spotted him, trying to tap away. He's got him so low, and there you go. Tapson with a big 4K is gonna close out the round for Big, keeping them alive. 6 more rounds to go now for OT.
Dream is still alive for the Germans here, and what a round there coming up from Taps. And one of these players that we've been talking about, and the desk has been talking about as well, haven't really seen that much of him, and now he comes alive finally with that 4K, taking out Waylander in the 1v1 in the end, taps him out and gets that round done. 9-5, 15 is the scoreline right now, and we finally see Flipside being forced down into something less good economically. They have 2 5.7s and 2 UMP 45s.
Waylander moving out here too. Blade, he's found that first kill though against Gabi as the guys from Flipside go for aggressive control of the connector. You can note on the left side there too as they're going to move all the way towards the T-spawn as they move in. Tapson, just as the flashbang fades away though, he is going to be able to grab that kill, but it's very short-lived as he's traded out by Waylander. Keeve though doing some work in this site. Back over down in the pit. Oh no, he looks away and he can't adjust quickly enough. Now he's down at 7 HP. His teammate with the bomb though is long gone. They got control of this B site, but it was very hesitant. They're going to take it up to A, and this is a bait play. It's working out perfectly as Keeve is rocking up the kills now. He doesn't know where Waylander is yet, but I think Waylander's a bit hesitant in this Keeve's position too. They're literally right above and below each other, but Keeve with that flick out of nowhere shuts down Waylander, and it's going to be another closeout round for Big.
Yeah, and once again, one big individual round from these German players here. Last round it was Tapson, and now it's Keeve hitting the shots left, right, and center with that AWP and playing perfectly into the bait position and the bait play that they were doing on that no scope at the end. That's just beautiful.
Nice swing up to close things down. 5 more to go, and they've broken Flipside too, so this one in theory should be an easy one. However, we have seen teams upset on these rounds in the past, so I wouldn't count this one as a certainty for Big just yet. As if they play this too forward and they don't catch someone on like an angle or something, then that's going to be bad. However, Electronic a bit aggressive at the start. He's going to give himself away, and he'll be pretty quickly chased down by Tabson and Leggy. Gabi wanted that kill, but unfortunately was stolen by Tabson, so he's not going to get the chance to do so. What he does do, however, spot a second guy retreating to the A site, and I'm sure they know that there's going to be at least 2 more rotating up in a second if they're already positioned at the back site. They even caught that rotator too. That's Blade that came up through the connector. It's taken him down, and now it's just cleaning out the rest of the site. There you go. Waylander dead. World that it was dead a moment ago, and Markelov going to try to edge out 1 kill, but he cannot do it. It's a clean 5-man alive round for Big.
That was a great round for them. And these 2 last rounds with individual clutches, and then this very, very clean round against an eco that has to do wonders for their self-confidence here. And despite them being on the verge of losing this game, Big, they have some kind of feeling and some kind of mentality into believing that they can come back into this game. They've won 3 rounds in a row now. Can they bring it back? They need 4 more to bring us into overtime. It is still possible. Gabi switching out the UMP 45 for the AK-47. Absolutely 100% full setup from the T's this round.
And they are going to move down to that connector, specifically Keeve. Wait to see if he can grab anybody this time. Blade is down there, and he's been playing to this position for quite a lot on the CT side too. The Molotov rolls in though, unfortunately, as Keeve was smoked off there on the initial push, so we can't really do much besides just tossing the molly to prevent his opponent from pushing through. Electronic, though, the flashbang works out perfectly. He's able to grab the kill, but it does not affect Gabi, so he's able to swing in and catch the trade. Keeve will be grouping up with him in a moment. And again, they're lined up to push into either site. Next, though, it's a nasty surprise. He thinks he's got a clear B site. It's not the case, though, as Markelov waits on the angle to challenge him. I think World at it, however, has just snuck by Keeve's vision, as he didn't really adjust out of the corner there when World had moved in, but I'm pretty sure World had spotted Keeve. So he's going to try to move in here, making sure they didn't boost him on top of the flower pot spot. And now swinging out. They don't have a clue, and they're not even paying attention to the close-up spot. So he's going to find both Keeve and Gabi to shut them down. It all goes to Leggy, and now World that it almost shuts it down there. Leggy will catch the trade, but now they know where he is, and he's against a 1v3. He's got a lot of utility to play with. That's about the only good thing he has going for him right now, is the longer he waits, the more of a chance he has, too, of getting flanked out by Waylander.
Yeah, Waylander just holding right now the short angle, holding into toilets, so making sure he can't rotate from that angle, basically forcing him to push out along, where the 2 other players are holding his specific position. And, well, he needs all the utility in the world, pretty much, but he's trying to win the aim duel and then get in towards the bomb site. He needs to get at least 1 kill here to even try and figure something out. And here we go. He's trying his best.
Smokes are set up for the cross, so Waylander's not going to be too big of a deal, but there you have it. It's all over, ladies and gentlemen. Marco off with a closeout frag, and Flipside Tactics will take control of their first match here at Leipzig. They move forward into the upper bracket finals. Unfortunately for Big, they'll have to battle back for the lower bracket finals. A very slow start, and although they did their best to try and make a comeback in the second half, they were just too far gone, and it made it too easy for Flipside just to close out with those last 4 rounds or so in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. Did not look good after that first half, but I have to say that Big redeemed themselves in the second one. They didn't go all the way down to 15-15 or something like that, or win the game. But comparing the first half to the second half, it's a very different team. So I have to say there's still some kind of focus, some kind of chance for Big to get back into this tournament. But it's a rough start. It's a rough start.
Yeah, definitely not what they were looking for, I think, when it came through, especially in the first half there. Things are looking better in the second half, but I mean, in all those games, it's always the issue of it being too far gone. And the fact that Flipside, you know, they start off rough in their second half too, but they're so far ahead that they don't really have to worry about that. They can always just take a moment to take a pause and reset themselves. But guys, we need 4 rounds to run this anyway, and that's exactly what they used to be able to close out there in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. So interesting game right here, and it's only the second one of the day. We have 4 more games coming out live from you guys, live here from Leipzig at the Messe here. So it's going to be definitely a packed day of CS. And with this one being done, Flipside, of course, moving on to the winner finals, where they're going to face a team that we're going to find out later today who's going to face them there. But it's going to be definitely an interesting one.
All right, guys. So over on the stage, we do have Paul already with an interview, so let's send it over to him.
Hello everybody, I'm standing here with one of the winners from Flipside Tactics, Blade. Congratulations on that victory. Maybe a bit closer at the end than it could have been, because you got off to a great start, but then the gap closed slightly. Why did that happen?
Well, we did a lot of mistakes at the end. We lost like 3 rounds that should end really easy for us, but I don't know why, but I think they thought that it's really close, the victory is really close, and they just start to do stupid mistakes. But they played really good. They played till last chance, and they did well.
Just like the match before, where Heroic had to prepare for QWERTY, Michaelele's new team, you guys had to prepare for a team that is relatively new formed. You know, Big, these guys have just come together, and so maybe there wasn't so much you could do in terms of research, which is something that you are very well known for. And so how did you prepare for these guys?
Well, I didn't want to, like, try to fool my mind with some not useful information, so I didn't prepare at all. We knew that they play Cobblestone pretty well, like Kiev is a really aggressive oper, so we just tried to focus on our game, not on their game, and try to gather as much information during the game, like first gun rounds, where do they throw smokes, to realize what is the defense setup for them, and it worked really well.
Awesome. Final thing then, Blade. This tournament is a big deal, but you also have the major in the distance. How are you dealing with this tournament? Are you going to reveal all your power, all of your strats, or are you holding something back? Are there any surprises even?
Well, we're trying to build a new game style, like to adapt to an opponent, not to have like your own style, and to show to everyone on GoTV like demos what can you do. They can study you really easily. So we try to to create some adaptive style. So we'll try to study as much opponents as we can, and just to build a game plan. So it will be something new, yeah, I think.
And you guys, I think, are by some thought to be one of the favorites here. Do you believe you can go ahead and take the whole tournament?
Of course, like all teams here, like they are not stronger than us. They can beat us, of course, but it's not tier 1, not even tier 2 teams. So I think we can win this if we all play like really best.
Best of luck, Blade, in the rest of the competition, and congratulations on that first victory. We will now head back to the desk.
Thank you very much, Patla there on the stage, and some interesting words, some fighting talk on the stage.
Maybe some accidental banter.
It's accidental banter.
It might have been
maybe.
accidental.
Yeah, I don't think he was intentionally BMing, so.
No, Flipside in the end have come through, Tommy. It wasn't as impressive as we would have hoped it to have been from their point of view, but rusty, holidays, lack of practice, mixture of stuff.
We really weren't hoping for that impressive. We were hoping in the region of 16-9, I think, was the goal.
Were.
Yeah, that's what you said. I was just happy that my prediction was wrong. So, No, I think Flipside were very impressive. That first half was really good. And some of the things that I think Blade was just saying there in his interview is very interesting, right? They always seem like a very rigid team. They always stuck to their routines and being passive and working through the map. But you saw a lot of like aggression being used, like Waylander pushing up A long that one round, basically getting into A site before the CTs even knew it was there. There was like a good play by Electronic. He looks like, I said, let off the leash. He's doing kind of what he wants. And then when they get that opening pick or they lose, you know, and then they're in a 4v4 situation, they go back to their structure. They look like they're reporting back to Blade. They're making the good decision. And then that's really important to be able to make mid-round decisions that are successful on the T side. CT side, their economy was in the bin for a little while there and probably should have closed it out earlier. They just had a few unlucky rounds.
Yeah, a few mistakes.
I mean, the
team
game...
captain mentioned that on the stage as well. Inevitable in a way, because when you get close, it happens, doesn't it?
Well, the game really was almost fully over in the first half, right? I don't think any of us thought that Big would have come back in the second half. Granted, they played really well in the second half. They made a game out of it at the end. But like Blade said, it was mostly due to their mistakes. I mean, that 1v3 by Tabzen should have never happened. There were a couple other similar examples where Flipside, I think they just looked anxious to get the game over with. You have a big lead, you just think, okay, let's just go win this now. But then you go for that extra peak, someone else just is like, oh, okay, actually now this round doesn't look so good for us.
Yeah.
So sometimes you let games get closer than you should in a way like that. But I mean, as long as you win in the end, that's fine. And like you said, there were a couple things that Flipside were doing at the opposite extremes of the map with their sort of the more, I guess, the younger players who have more freedom in the team.
Yep.
That fit with what Blade was saying about them sort of being more adaptive here and trying to sort of maybe forge a new style in a way.
They do need to be a little less predictable, and that's for sure. Otherwise, they're going to get it picked off. We've got a couple of highlights for you. This one particular, Kiev had a great round in 25. This was... there was a no-scope at the end of this one, which was very nice indeed. But just before this, Tabzen also had a massive round. The pair of them actually had very good games, didn't they, Tommy?
Yeah, and that's the two big hitters of Big. I mean, if they play well, they have a chance. But the problem is, and I guess Nex has the potential to be the swing player. He could be the guy who sort of puts them over the top. If Nex showed up here, we were talking about in that Nex's 1v3 when he was, I think, 9-15 or so, 8-15. We're saying I haven't seen Nex do anything in the entire game. And that's the thing. You're not going to beat better teams if you only have two players playing well. And Legia and Gobby obviously aren't that good at fragging. They're sort of the support players. And when I say support, I mean support, not how some people say NBK is a support, even though that's technically true. So they definitely need Nex badly to be able to be competitive against better teams.
Okay, let's take a look at the statistics of the game and show you how it broke down for both sets of players. And outstanding performance from Electronic in particular. Sponge, you highlighted him as a player that you were really looking forward to seeing how he fitted in with this Flipside team, and someone that they were looking for to step up, and he's done exactly that in the opening game. It's
a good opening map for him to get the teething issues of first LAN of the year out of the way, and he's playing well, and that's what this team needs. They need that star, consistent star. So you want to see him regularly up the top there, World Edit doing his thing. Blade is like the in-game leader who, we all say that he's great at his job and stuff, but he always seems to consistently frag, He's always doing his job and doesn't have to worry too much when his players are getting frags like that. So 20 kills is pretty good. On the other side, Kiev, Tab, Gob, and Nex, they're all very similar on the scoreboard. But the problem for them was no one showed up on the CT side.
Yeah.
You can't expect a 12-3 half while you're on the CT side and then you're going to turn it around. That would be a ridiculous comeback. So the pressure was always going to be on them. And then when you get into situations that are 1v3s, 1v2s, that kind of stuff, it's really hard to win those. And you're going to get ground out eventually. It was one of those things Tommy was saying, oh yeah, this is going to end now. Because the way it was going was they'd win one, but then they'd lose one, and it was a matter of time before it was over.
Yeah, no momentum at all.
We talked about before the game how you need to be prepared on both sides of Overpass. It's not enough for you to have tactics on the terrorist side, have things for you, but you need something on the CT side, and it really looked like Big was playing fairly static. The only one doing anything almost was Kiev, and he really wasn't able to get early picks because Flipside was playing fairly far back. They weren't going for those aggressive pushes when Kiev had an up.
Yeah, I think the issue when you play a team like Flipside who are relatively slow is if you take territory on the map early, like you take the water sewer area towards B, or if you want to play aggressive up on long towards A or something like that, they are just going to push you back with time. They might not even use like much utility to push you back, but maybe one flash or waiting out 30 seconds before coming and clearing your area. You're out of utility at that point, and you have to fall back to the site and play a little bit safer. And if you're playing fundamental Counter-Strike, which Big were doing, they're basically being read like a book because they're playing how they're meant to be playing, and Flipside were taking advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, they really needed to just gamble at something. They needed to get together in some part of the map and just push that, stack that, do something different. But as long as they keep doing, like you said, fundamental Counter-Strike, then Blade has him exactly where he wants him.
Yeah. I think just to touch on what Blade was saying towards the end there as well, we've had such a long time of them being a static, like slow team. If they can build on this and have more of an adaptive style, like he was saying, that's perfect, because you need to have all of the components nowadays. The meta is changing so quick that you can't physically just be playing one style, like heavy executes or really slow or freedom. You need to be able to do all different styles of Counter-Strike to be successful, and I think like SK, teams like Virtus Pro, you know, they testify to that.
Yeah, good examples of that, right? Thank you very much. We're heading to a break very shortly. Just a reminder for you, if you want to follow all of the DreamHack social media, you can do so on your screen right now. Make sure you use the hashtag #DHOpen with any of your comments, thoughts, or abuses for Sponge. Whatever you want to do on Twitter is fine by us. As I said, we are headed to a break. When we come back, however, another game is upon us. It's LDLC versus Fnatic Academy. It's coming next.